Okay.
Okay, so where was I? All the videos coming in, and they're basically set with just a Boolean math operation off or on, and basically it's listening for on each of the spectrums of the audio, so low, mids, highs, and when they hit a certain amplitude, that triggers the off on, which is fed into here, which decides which video to cut to, and where in the video it's being placed based on the amplitude. Okay, so that's a real basic explanation. My original proposal was to do 3D controlled 4D animations, and that's something I'm still working on. I actually do have the ability now to bring in an OBJ file into this environment, and I can show you that in a second too if I have time, but it's not fully implemented right now, so I'm not going to really be displaying that. But I will have it to where I can sort of trigger a 3D model and move it around with the sensor, probably with the Wiimote, just because it has the different axes that I can twirl a 3D object on to be real easy.
So like one of these windows, for instance, in one of the math windows, just right there,
Yeah.
initial value, it goes through this sequence of events of initial value, operation 1, operand 1, operation 2, operand.
Right, let me go inside of it and you can see sort of the operations that's happening.
Okay.
So this particular math operation, which is being, one of the frequencies is hitting it, either low or high, and
Sound frequencies coming from a file.
yeah, and it's coming from a file because this is really processor intensive, just how quickly it cuts between the videos. So I only implemented a sound file rather than live audio input to improve performance.
Okay.
And being booted from an external drive, and actually on this MacBook, which doesn't have dedicated video hardware, performance is not going to be like I expect it to be.
Right.
But it'll work.
So all of this pretty much provides all of the more options for you rather than having to code from scratch.
Yeah.
Whereas Pure Data doesn't give you really any options. They just give you
Pure Data. You have to go look up the objects and actually just type in what it's going to be.
Right.
Whereas here you have a patch creator, which I actually have a lot of sort of extra patches and plugins I've gathered off the internet. But you can see they're here categorized like filters. You can do same sort of filters you would do in Photoshop, whatever.
Visual filters of imagery or video.
And there's generators, there's inputs and outputs for OSC and MIDI.
And kinematics are kineme is the kinematic functions that change different movements.
No, you'd think that. It's actually not kinematics. Kineme is actually independent developer that's made a bunch of plugins for Chords Composer, which actually the 3D and a lot of the GLSL shaders and stuff like that he implemented, which I would like to get into more further. But we're getting off subject. So basically that's the flow of it. I'd like to just go ahead and demonstrate it with the entire song.
Do you have sound on that?
Yep, I believe so. Let me test it again. Actually, I think that there might be a speaker. No, I've got it connected already.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to trigger it by hitting run. That will actually, by the way, let me zoom in here real quick. This one right here is being fed into the same system, but it doesn't have any video. I actually have a little tiny parameter inside of it.
Nice.
That is asynchronous mode, which will let the audio play through on that movie file, which feeding into the same system is a lot better performance than a live audio input. So
Okay.
that was something I struggled with how fast it's cutting between these. So the audio frequencies is really processor intensive. But I stabilized it so it wouldn't really even go below 60 frames per second, but we'll see what it gets here.